Good morning, everyone. My name is Ziggy, and it is June 19th, 2023, 9:22 a.m. So, as I mentioned in the last video, it looks like we are going to have a very active weather week, and I will get to that shortly. But first, what's going on this morning? The National Weather Service is looking very closely at what they call a mesoscale convective system, a very organized complex of severe thunderstorms that usually presents as like bow echoes or arcs on radar, but it doesn't have to be. But as you can see here, a squall line. So, I haven't really looked at these. What we got? Let's see. 70-mile-per-hour wind gust. That's pretty hefty. Let's see. Do I have the? Yeah, no. Okay, so I have a bit of an issue here today. Unfortunately, I don't know if it was from storms or whatever, but the KJAX radar is down. So that means any storm chasing that we do, depending on when this radar comes back up, can be a bit more difficult to get accurate information on, because the nearest radar site we have is Valdosta, Georgia, right here. But this is Tallahassee's, to be closer to this segment. So yeah, not a deal breaker. I could obviously use the Valdosta radar, but if we do have any severe storms, it's going to be very hard to really tell about the conditions through radar. Only because I'll have to get the exact measurement, but if I had to guess, the Valdosta radar is probably 60, 70 miles away from where we live. So that beam is way high up in the atmosphere. It's not getting as much accurate information from the ground where we really need to see. Alright, so I just checked. The Valdosta, Georgia radar site is about 92 miles away, and the radar beam reaches about 8,500 feet in the atmosphere at its lowest setting. So that kind of presents an issue. This will be seeing very high up into thunderstorms. When this mesoscale convective system comes through, it might be harder for meteorologists or really anyone trying to use apps like RadarScope or radar in general to be able to see the real low-level dynamics of thunderstorms in the lower couple thousand feet of the atmosphere, where those conditions might actually be affecting people. Because if you can look up 10,000 feet into a thunderstorm on velocity radar, and you'll probably find really strong winds, but that doesn't mean those winds are occurring on the ground. Usually they're not, and if they do, they're in very short duration. But regardless, that's okay. Just a minor inconvenience. A couple things I wanted to show y'all. This is the National Weather Service website for Jacksonville. There's one for every single National Weather Service office in the country. So, please use them. In my opinion, I like using them more than things like the Weather Channel app. But as you can see, today we're expecting severe thunderstorms. You can see the severe line from the mesoscale convective system. And they actually updated the convective outlook since I woke up to, this was stretching much further down into the peninsula. I think it was going maybe down to near Lake Okeechobee, if not further. But now you can see it's just up to about maybe Orlando, Ocala, that kind of general area. So it really seems like the main concern is for this line of thunderstorms. Now, there is supposed to be another wave of convection later on tonight, so really how much rain we get out of this, how much stability this brings to the atmosphere, will really depend, or will help kind of set up what's going to happen tonight. And also something that I'm sure I'm going to have to get to very soon, because I live in Florida, the tropical weather outlook. It's already looking pretty active for June. I'm pretty surprised. Something I absolutely love about the National Weather Service is that they give updated and very in-depth weather briefings. So again, for this reference, this is available for free at weather.gov/media/jaxbriefing/nwsjaxbriefing.pdf. But you can see the link up there. You can copy it, or you can just search up National Weather Service office in Jacksonville, and this will be right on top of the page. Here, you can go right there. So today it's an enhanced daily weather briefing, since there's supposed to be severe weather. So as you can see, scattered severe storms possible today, isolated on Tuesday, main hazards the usual, winds, flooding, maybe a tornado, and it's going to just be muggy and stormy every day for the next week. Here you can see the severe weather outlook. They're expecting thunderstorms to impact our area between 12 and 2, which is actually when I will be going to work, funnily enough. But it looks like they're expecting for now that this is going to be over by 3. And then this is tomorrow's expected heavy rain. And again, the tropical weather outlook, which has not been updated to show that that invest is becoming more organized. So, yeah, overall, it looks like today's going to be a very interesting weather day. Kind of sucks that I'm going to be at work, but that doesn't mean we can't come back and analyze what we can get from radar. And who knows, maybe I could bring the camera and grab some videos when I have time. One last thing I would like to talk about is the idea of radar holes, or radar gaps. So basically, the National Weather Service has a set amount of radars around the country, and you can see that it's divided up into multiple categories here. Generally, like everything, these number values you see here is the bottom of the beam height, assuming a standard atmospheric refraction rate, but that stuff isn't like particularly something you need to know about right now. But generally speaking, just what you need to know is that you want to be in this kind of like tannish yellow area, or at the very least in the orange. That is the lowest that the radar beam will see. Ideally, the radar beam, you want it to see below 4,000 feet in the atmosphere, like for the most ideal low-level conditions for tracking thunderstorms. Now, you can see that a decent chunk of the East Coast is under it, but there's a lot of gaps through the Midwest, in the Midwest of all places, and then really gets bad out west. But in Florida, where we are, we're covered until Ajax goes down, because then Valdosta's radar is 90 miles away, Melbourne's is about 150, and I don't know what city that is, but in South Carolina, whichever one that is, it is a good, like, 180 miles away. None of those distances are particularly very helpful. We are about, I believe, 30 miles away from Ajax, so our radar data is actually really good. But with Ajax being down right now, it might make tracking these storms and really analyzing this mesoscale system more difficult as it starts to approach the East Coast. Alright, hello again. The time is 10:06 a.m. Eastern. I might pop in one or two more times before I go off to work, depending on how fast the storm moves in. But right now, I just want to show you that what I was talking about earlier, I'm pretty confident that the storm will be severe warned by the time it comes rolling through here. It's been maintaining them, and the National Weather Service will adjust them promptly as needed, as you can see, shortening those polygons and canceling them as, you know, their time runs up. So, I kind of expect the storm to remain severe into eastern Florida. I guess we'll just have to see how it goes later on. Hello again, popping back in for an update at 10:22 a.m. and yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm really starting to think that we're probably going to get some straight line wind damage reports and stuff out of this. So, as we're seeing right now, I'm looking out my window, it's bright and sunny, plenty warm for these storms to roll on in and really feed off the environment. So on my screen, you're seeing GR2 Analyst and sorry. We're at the Valdosta radar. It's having a little bit of trouble seeing back through here. But I pulled up my phone, and I didn't want to switch it because it's going to take forever to load, but the Ajax radar is back online, thankfully. So, at the end of the day, I guess it's not going to really be that big of a deal here, but I am glad I got to talk about the radar gap thing, and it did give me an idea for a video in the future, so stay tuned for that. But the main thing I wanted to pop back in for, other than the news about Ajax, is, yeah, you could see, like, they're already expanding these severe thunderstorm warnings, like, well in advance before the storms even get through. I mean, like, look at this. Like, how much lead time is this? So it's 10:24 a.m. right now. These were issued just a couple minutes ago at 10:20 until 11 a.m. And the storms are moving at 60 miles per hour. So ideally, the people over here near Live Oak, just outside, White Springs, Swanee, should have hopefully a good, like, 20 to 30 minutes of lead time. And if you're looking right here at the Valdosta radar, extremely heavy rain, if not hail, happening just outside the city of Valdosta. So, yeah, we're definitely looking at a big storm here. And again, depending on how this goes, we have another wave of storms expected tonight. So, I guess, you know, we really do have to see. I think due to the quick moving nature of the storm, it's probably not gonna like really cool us down all that much. It really all depends. If the sun comes back out and really warms up the atmosphere, we could have another situation like on the 17th where we have late night thunderstorms again. Popping back in to say that, yeah, as you can see, the radar image was unavailable, but in the last couple frames, it pops back up. Thank God. I can't wait to, like, actually have these storms get close and experience it. But, this is just, I don't know if it's actually the case, but I'm kind of, like, laughing to myself, picturing, like, people in NWS Jack just scrambling to get the radar back up, like, shit, we're gonna have thunderstorms today. But I'm glad they did, and if anybody from the National Weather Service somehow stumbles upon this video, thank you for everything you do. I really, really, really appreciate it. Hello everyone, it is 10:38, and look at this. This is a radar scan coming from KVAX, or otherwise known as the Valdosta, Georgia radar site. So remember, green is wind coming in towards the radar, red is wind going away from the radar, and the brighter colors indicate heavier winds. And yeah, that's probably 50, 60 mile per hour winds coming in. And then on the outside, I took the time to check, and we can definitely confirm that wind gusts of at least 50 miles per hour are probably coming from the storm, likely up to 60, qualifying it to be a severe thunderstorm. And in addition to that, we know that this is reliable information because the radar beam is so close to the storm that it's so low in the atmosphere that we know that this is happening near ground level. Coming back a few minutes later, we could see that we're still seeing those like whitish red pink areas are winds of 50 to 60 miles per hour. So, you know, very strong wind gusts occurring less than 1,000 feet from the ground. Again, there's a pretty solid chance that that like band of wind is occurring near ground level. And something to consider, you know, like sometimes we look at these storms and we're like, there's no way all of that is producing, you know, like 60 mile per hour wind gusts. And sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's not the entire line. Sometimes it's just specific little pockets. Because as you've seen on the radar like scans, this storm spans hundreds of miles. The difference is, though, that some parts of it are still containing these pockets of strong winds, meaning the entire line is, except for actually some of the northern parts, are being warned on. Alright, hello. I am out and about here, getting gas for the day. Able to drive to work. Partial face reveal. Right now, you can't really see all that much. Gotta turn it that way. Blue skies, those kind of like light looking clouds, it's not too bad. So, like I said, I don't think we're really going to be seeing all too much for another couple hours. But it's steamy outside, I'll tell you that much. It is 11:13 a.m. This is probably the last update I'm going to be able to do from home before I gotta get moving. And, I just wanted to bring this, and this is the KJAX radar now. And, you can see that this storm's really lost quite a bit of its muster, especially on the southern end that's in Florida. Right now, the main part that we were looking at, where we saw that straight line wind damage maybe, outside of Valdosta, is moving through Fargo right now. Probably gonna head into more rural areas soon. I don't know if the storms are going to re-intensify. They could be cycling. They could just kind of peter out a little bit. We'll just have to see. It will be very interesting to discuss if they do peter out, because that will actually give me a perfect opportunity to talk about this, like, strange phenomenon I kind of notice with a lot of these systems weakening as they get towards the eastern half of Florida. I really like being able to do this like pre-analysis of storms and being able to do it from my computer, where I have access to resources a lot easier, have my recording software obviously and all that, but also just kind of getting to talk and discuss the more general meteorology in a more casual sense. I like being able to explain it in a more simple way, because I understand hearing all the big fucking science terms is a little much sometimes. So, you know, I try and explain things as smoothly as possible. And again, something I just want to say that I've been thinking about all morning is that I wish I could go out and chase this storm, but I will be at work. Unfortunately, Mother Nature stops for nobody. Not even, I guess, my work. Good morning, everyone. It is the morning of June 20th, and I'm back to do a little bit of post-analysis of the storm system we had yesterday. Like I said earlier, didn't really get to do too much coverage due to me working, But as you can see here, I put together this radar loop and managed to fill it in the missing bits that I couldn't get while I was driving with the NWS Jax website. As you can see, this storm system really fell apart as it started to move through the first coast in terms of heavy rain, severe weather. It just kind of lost its muster. And that's what I was expecting to happen today. As you can see with, like, in the first couple frames, the main, like, front leading edge of the squall separates from the rest, and afterwards it just begins crumbling. You can see the holes in the radar start to appear, and a lot of the southern edge is just completely gone. So what exactly is going on here? I don't know. That's a great question. I've been asking myself the same question for many years because I've noticed this, and honestly, I might submit this video to the National Weather Service in Jacksonville and see what they have to say about it, and maybe they can help offer me an explanation. Unfortunately, I don't have much to discuss about the evening because I didn't get to see it or do analysis, but yeah, basically, discrete storm cells happen later on, a lot of special weather statements, a couple severe thunderstorm warnings, and then that happened in St. Augustine, I guess. That's pretty cool to look at on radar. So yeah, that's the story of the Juneteenth storm system this year. By the way, happy Juneteenth. Please read up on it. Very important. I'm gonna be honest, I don't know a ton about it and I want to learn more. So I will be doing so. But in addition to that, I'm going to be producing more videos. And we are going to have a very active June. So overall, it was a very interesting case study. I am excited to continue to learn more and really excited for today, honestly, which is June 20th, because the weather has already been very interesting and I'm actually home all day so I can see it. And if I need to go out for a drive to go storm chasing, I can do that. The only hope is the storms come through once Illicit's done with work so he can actually go storm chasing, or at the very least, I can bring him home. He can have his time to rest. Because it's very busy. We're very, very busy. But again, like I said, Mother Nature waits for no one. So please stay safe out there, especially if you live in the South the next couple days. It's kind of nasty right now. See you, y'all.